I would like to call our Director in charge, our Professor R.K. Udhar sir, to present a bouquet to Sri A.R. Unnikrishnan, Senior Director and Head MHD PIS. I would like to call our Director in charge, Professor R.K. Udhar sir, to present a bouquet to Sri S.K. Verma, Senior Director and Head JDBO PIS. I would like to call Professor Ghanshyam Das sir to present a bouquet to Sri Shudhanshu Rai, Joint Director CMD. I would like to call Professor Dr. Ghanshyam Das sir to present a bouquet to Sri Vijay Kumar Gauda PTBO BIS. I would like to call Ghanshyam Das sir to present a bouquet to Professor and Director in charge, Professor R.K. Udhar sir. I would like to call Professor K.K. Singh sir to present a bouquet to Professor Ghanshyam Das sir. As our culture, we start our program by lamp lighting with the presence of all delegates. Deep Jyoti Param Brahm, Deep Jyoti Janardana, Deepo Me Hartu Papam, Deep Jyoti Namastute. I request all the dignitaries along with the director in charge, sir, kindly forward the lamp lighting. Now we are going to start our program. This program would be divided into two sessions. Before lunch, we will have an overview of BIS and a standardization ecosystem in the country, and a scope and expectation from education outreach program, group exercise, group discussion. After lunch demo on the digital initiative of BIS, group discussion for roadmap for implementation of MOU and presentation for the students as standards club. We'll start the program with Manak Geet and film on recent initiative by BIS. Now I would like to call our director in charge, NIMT Ranchi. I would like to request to start Manak Geet.
लाइट बंद कर दे। कोई नहीं है वहाँ पे। तालब गीत बजाओ।
सूरज सारे सागर
सारा अंबर सारे तारे
उत्सव हो हम सबका जीवन
संकल्प हमारा है
बातें सभी के सपनों का लेकर हमें आगे बढ़ना है कुछ रचना है कुछ सचना है कुछ रचना है सचना है नई राह बनानी है सोच नई संदान नए कौशल के नए आयाम
हम जहाँ चले जिस ओर चले हम कदम हमारे
आकाश को गाना है
विश्वास जगाना है
और इंद्रधनुष सुंदर जगमग धरती पर लाना है कुछ रचना है कुछ सचना है कुछ रचना है कुछ सचना है कुछ रचना है कुछ सचना है नई राह बनानी है।
Thank you for the beautiful song. Now I would like to call our director in charge, NIMT Ranchi, Professor R.K. Udhar sir, for a message reading.
A very good morning to all of you. It is with great pleasure and immense pride that we welcome you this one-day workshop program on standards and standardization process organized by Bureau of Indian Standards BIS headquartered in the New Delhi and NIMT Ranchi. This workshop signifies our commitment to promoting excellence, quality and innovation in various industries and sectors across the nation. On behalf of NIAMT Ranchi, I would like to welcome Sri A.R. Unnikrishnan, Senior Director and Head MSD, Sri Sudhanshu Roy, Joint Director CMD, Sri Vijay Gaurav, PIBO, PTBO, K. Kumar, Joint Director JDBO, and ठीक है. Then Dr. Ghanshyam Das, Professor NIMT Ranchi. As we gather here today, we privileged to have experts from BIS who have dedicated their career to the pursuit of standardized practices that not only improve product quality but also ensure the safety and well-being of our society. The Bureau of Indian Standards or BIS has played a pivotal role in shaping the governing these standards, and this event is testament to our collective dedication to this vital mission. Throughout the day, we will delve into the intricacies of standards and the standardization process, exploring how they impact our daily lives, businesses and industries. Our esteemed speakers and facilitators will guide us through the essential elements of standardization, its significance and the path to achieving international benchmarks. You can expect a dynamic exchange of ideas, a wealth of knowledge and the opportunity to encourage with experts who are at the forefront of this field. We encourage active participation, questions and discussions throughout the day. This event is not just a one-day affair, it is the beginning of collective efforts to further cause of standardization in India. Together we can contribute to a brighter, safer and more prosperous future. On behalf of NIAMT Ranchi, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to BIS, our esteemed speakers and participants for making this event possible. Thank you for joining today and we look forward to a day filled with knowledge, collaboration and inspiration. With that, I declare the standard and the standardization process workshop officially open. Let the pursuit of excellence begin. Thank you and let's have a productive and enlightening day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we are going to start our program, Overview of BIS and Standardization Ecosystem in the Country. Sir, please come on.
Before we start the program, I just would like to highlight that by this time all of you would have sensed the importance of this program. DGBIS, in spite of his very busy schedules, is a very one of the senior-most IAS officers in the country, holding the post of Secretary in the Government of India. He was there to address you, and the entire program schedule has been crafted by him And like we are having a program here today, across the country in different institutions, programs are happening. So by way of an entering into an MOU with your institution, we have become close. But we have to take that MOU further forward and become closer. And we need the active participation of the faculty as well as the students. Why students? Because the motto is catch them young. So because the students are the nation builders of the future, so we would like all the students also to actively participate in the national standardization process. Not only the national standardization process, we will also explain to you how you can become a part of the international standardization process. So lots of young professionals are already there in BIS in various committees, and they are also being sent abroad to participate in ISO, IEC programs. All those will be explained to you in detail. And we would like to have this program as an interactive session because it's going to be a day-long program till almost 5:30 till you are tired, and it cannot be a monologue from our side. It has to be and we have planned the sessions in such a way that it will be a interactive session. So we are going to start the program with a quiz. All of you will be knowing about BIS. Now let us see what extent you know about BIS. So we are going to start with a quiz. There are no prizes for this correct answers, and the prizes will be in the form of very good claps which you will be getting. Okay, so we'll start with the quiz.
Namaskar, I am Sudhanshu Rai. So as sir explained, this is the kind of icebreaker thing. We want to kindle your interest in BIS and activities of BIS, and you have to take it with some common sense and with general knowledge. So the first question is, in which year ISI current?
Questions will come here, and from the questions itself we will be asking some questions. What is ISI? Indian Standards Institution. What is that Indian Standards Institution? It's BIS. What is BIS? What is the difference between ISI and BIS then? Yeah, the Indian Standards Institution, it came into existence in the year? Which year? Guess. 47. And it is much ahead of our independence. When was India's independence? Date. 15th August 1947. But this organization came into existence on? Tell, louder. Yeah, good. He should get a very good clap. I will give you a chocolate before I leave this institution in the evening. Okay? So it's 6th January 1947. It's much ahead of India's independence. Okay? Next question. So there are various ministries in the government of India. You will be knowing there are various administrative ministries under the government of India, and these organizations like BIS come under the administrative control of some ministry. Which ministry it could be? I can't hear. Option number A. Okay, option number A. You have shown the answer. Otherwise, I would have asked whether there are any other options. Okay, next. Which is the prevailing Bureau of Indian Standards Act? See, we are a statutory body. So every action of this organization is governed by some act. We cannot act on our own. We are guided by some act, rules and regulations. So which is that act? This side. B. Okay, BIS Act 2016. So now I will tell you the importance of BIS. Earlier the organization was started as Indian Standards Institution in the year 1947. It was it did not have that much powers at that point of time. Basically engaged in standardization and certification. But once a certification comes into picture, there are other illegal activities being done by the manufacturer. So we have to curb that. For that, the organization has been strengthened. It was given the statute of a bureau through a Bureau of Indian Standards Act 1986. Then it got revised in 2016. The question. Can anybody read the question? In which capacity does India hold membership in ISO? So there is a question in that question. What is ISO? You cannot answer all the questions. I will give you a chance after fifth question. Back this side. Anybody from this side? International standards? He is not agreeing to that answer. You tell me. Give a big clap. International Organization for Standardization. So there are various international organizations. Like we normally consider three organizations are international organizations: ISO, IEC and ITU. What is IEC? IEC. Any electrical engineers here? Please raise your hands. Any electrical engineers? Electrical. Google search and tell me fast. What is IEC? IEC. International Electrotechnical Commission. This is an international organization which deals with standardization in the field of electrical engineering, and ISO is the international organization which deals with standardization in the field of all other sectors except electrical, and ITU is International Telecommunication Union which deals with standardization in the area of telecommunications. Okay. So in which capacity does India hold membership in ISO? What could be the capacity? India is I will give you a hint. India is a founder member of ISO. When ISO was started in 1947, India was a founder member in the ISO. So in what capacity we should be there in ISO? Absolutely. Clap here, please. It's a full member. We are a full member in ISO. We are a full member in IEC because we are founder members for ISO, IEC, and we have full rights in all participation of ISO and IEC. Next. Which organization represents India in ISO? It's like your question paper. If you start reading the question paper from 1 to 20, you will get some answer of some question from the question of the previous one. It's like that. So it's a BIS. Next. Which organization serves as WTO TBT inquiry point in India? What is WTO TBT? World Trade Organization. TBT stands for? TBT. Technical barriers to trade. Because the trade happens across the country. From India, products goes to different countries, and from some other countries, products comes to India, and there has to be a free flow of trade. So you cannot prevent the trade from happening by imposing some technical conditions. So if you impose some technical conditions which hinders trade, there is an apex organization, that is WTO TBT organization, which sees all those things. And if we are imposing some technical condition which prevents Germany to send some product to India, they will raise the concern in WTO forum. Likewise, if some other country prevents India from sending the product to that country by way of a technical hindrance, we can raise a dispute at WTO, and WTO settles all those things. So, which organization serves as WTO TBT inquiry point in India? Absolutely, BIS is the only organization, and in BIS we have a dedicated department which handles all the TBT queries. When it comes, concerns come from other countries, we share it with the stakeholders, all the industry, we get their viewpoint and we send it to WTO where the dispute is settled. Next. What is the primary objective of the Bureau of Indian Standards? All of the above. Anybody wants to give a clap for that? I will not clap. Why? Why? Control price of the commodities. Array, onion price or tomato prices are daily increasing. BIS, do we have any role in controlling the price of onion and tomato? If we go behind onion and tomato, who will take care of standards? Nobody will be there to take care of standards. So A is a wrong choice. Next, maintaining law and order. If somebody bypasses the red signal and go, can BIS officer go and stop him and raise a challan? No, that is not our purview. If we do that, the DGP will come and catch BIS officer, okay? So what can be the option? We have to develop the standard. BIS can formulate the Indian standard and BIS has to implement the Indian standard. Standards, standards and standards. Nothing else is under the purview of BIS. Next. So there are various marks given at one side and the relevant certification scheme on the other side. So let us go by the one which is familiar. A goes with B. What is a product certification? You would have seen the packaged drinking water, you would have seen gas cylinders, you would have seen cement. All those are products. On the products there is a certification mark. So that is symbolized by ISI. Next, the lady should answer. A, B ka option. B. Okay, B ka option. B ka option, sure. Where have you seen that? Which jewelry? Hallmark jewelry. Give her a big clap. B is hallmarking. Hallmarking is for ensuring the purity of gold and silver. This is a scheme which was introduced by BIS in the year 2000. So if you buy hallmark jewelry, you will see this symbol D. Next, C is registration. What does registration stand for? Anyone? Registration. How many of you use mobile phone? All of you use mobile phone. But have you seen this registration mark anywhere in the mobile or laptop? Option number? Option number A. Big clap. This is also a product, but considering the specific nature of the product, this has been termed as a registration. This is basically for electronics and IT products when it was started in the year 2012. Later on, some other solar PV products also got added on to that. So if you see that products with which are registered under some compulsory registration order, either at the back of the laptop or maybe latest one when latest laptops and mobile where there is an e-labeling provision. When you buy it and switch it on, you can see a scrolling text where you will see the AMR. Now ABC is over. Then what can be the option for D? D? C. What is system standard? What are systems? What is system certification? Anybody? Systems. The most important system certification which you would have seen in all the advertisements. This side. System certification. ISO 9001 certification you would have seen in many of the hoardings. It's a system certification. So for system certification we have a Q mark. That's a quality management system. There are various types of system certification. ISO 9001, then for environment it's an environment management system, for a food safety that's a food safety management system, and so on. So through which act BIS is empowered to formulate Indian standards? BIS Act 2016. Next. BIS uses a specific numbering system to identify the standard. You would have, especially the civil engineers would have seen the Indian standards. So there is a pardon? IS is for international standard. अरे हम भारत है यार. IS is for Indian standard. When we are adopting we are formulating an indigenous standard, Bharat standard, it is Indian standard IS. So IS stands Indian standard. Every Indian standard, when we formulate any standard, there will be an abbreviation IS followed by a number. That number is like a running number, so it's a unique number. If you see a Mixi, that Mixi will have a number IS 4250. That 4250 is only for Mixi. And if you see the packaged drinking water, you can see IS 14543. So the moment I say IS 14543, it stands for packaged drinking water standard. This will be explained to you in detail. You can go for a wild guess. When BIS formulates an Indian standard, there are various roles played by different committees. So you go by a wild guess by just seeing ABCD. So what can be at the top? Apex. Which committee can be at the apex? Wild guess. Pardon? Option D, absolutely correct. Give me a big hand. Because as the name signifies, it's a standards advisory committee that will advise BIS or the or all next level committees on standardization. So it's an apex body, it's a standards advisory committee. Then what can be the next? Absolutely, it's a division council. So there are various division council. Like in BIS, there are standards are formulated by committees, and for each committee there is a division council. There are 16 division council depending upon the sectors. Electrical standards are formulated by ETDC, Electro Technology Division Council. Civil by Civil Engineering Division Council, and medical by MHDC, Medical Division Council. Likewise, there are 16 separate division council which focuses on specific areas. And under the division council, what can be the next? Absolutely, there are sectional committees. I am handling two departments. One is MHD and ETD. In MHD, we have 20 sectional committees. Sectional committees, again, it's a pinpointing onto the specific subject. One committee will deal with gynecology, another committee will deal with dentistry, another committee will deal with ophthalmology, and so on. Likewise, in electrical also there are 44 sectional committees dealing with different subjects. One committee will handle the subjects on cables, another committee will handle the subjects on rotating electrical machines, another committee will be on a different subject. It's a further focused. And what is the next? What can be the next one? Last one? Subcommittees. It's further focusing within the transformers. If some specifics are there on distribution transformers, there will be a subcommittee who will focus further, narrow down their focus only on the that specific aspects of distribution transformers. Next. At present, how many division councils exist for? I have already answered, so that means you have listened to my dialogues. Thank you so much. 16 division councils are there. Next. Which one is not a function of the sectional committee? Which cannot be which should not be a function of a sectional committee? Option number C, appointing a chairperson. Drafting and finalization of draft standards. What are draft standards? What are draft standards? What's a draft? Draft. What is a draft? Not about a standard. Generally, what do you mean by a draft? Your professor will ask you, please prepare a draft document and come to me. I will correct it and give it to you. What's a draft? It's a preliminary working document. It's a starting point of a document. You make a rough document, draft document. So it's a draft. Indian standard is a starting point of the standardization. We have a rough document with us. So draft. You are drafting a standard. So it's a draft standard, and after a series of process, it becomes a final standard, finalization. So these two are the functions of a sectional committee. Co-option of new members. The sectional committee will have some 20 members. New members have to be inducted into the committee. Like you will give your expression that you would like to be a member of one of the electrical committees. So we will co-opt you in the committee. So that is done by the sectional committee. Resolving comments on Indian standards. When an Indian standard is published and when it is implemented, there may be some comments. So that resolving the comment is by the sectional committee. And appointing the chairperson. The chairperson is the apex of the sectional committee. The sectional committee cannot appoint its chairperson. The chairperson is appointed by the next higher level. Which is the next higher level of the sectional committee? We have seen in the previous slide. Division Council. Division Council is the apex body of the sectional committee. They will appoint the chairperson. Which one of the following is a principle for development of standards? Sir will know the answer because sir is a esteemed member of our metallurgical technical committee. So anyone else? What is the principle for the development of an Indian standard? As DG has given in his opening remarks, BIS lays a stage for setting of the standard. There lot of stakeholders are there. Industry is there, consumer is there, government is there, regulator is there, laboratory is there, academia is there, R&D institutions are there. So lot of stakeholders are there, and we lay a platform for setting up of standard. And how the standards are developed? Is it through voting, consensus, funding? Who said funding? No funding. BIS will not give any fund. It's a voluntary service. Next, what can be? Two options are there. B, consensus. What is consensus? What do you mean by the term consensus? Absolutely. Everyone should be on the same page. So, see, voting is the principle by which the standards are formulated in ISO and IEC. But in BIS, it is through consensus principle. Everybody has to be on the same page. Either all of us should come to this side, or all of us should go to the other side. So, it's a discussion, deliberation, and then we convince each other, and if we value the other person's submissions, and with that we will come to a conclusion and all of us will be on the same page. It is through consensus. Next. Which among the following are involved in development of an Indian standard? Which among the following? It cannot be a guess, it has to be a correct answer.
CND.
That is a answer C and D. Any other answer? You also go with it. C and D. B, C, D, E. Then any other option? Which is the other option left out? Option number 2. A, B, C, D, E, F. Any other option left out? See, consumers. Product standards are made for whom? I am making a mixed standard. It is for whom? It's a consumer. So consumer has to be represented in the committee. Why ministry is coming? Funding. There is no funding. Ministry will not give the fund. You have to fund the ministry. Why ministry is coming? Because there are certain regulations. Ministry come up with a regulation and they will make binding that the standard has to be implemented. So the ministry has a role. Industry, because they are the experts. If somebody is making a mixie, the industry will give what are all the problems or how the test has to be done. So industry will be there. Why R&D organization? Because the standard cannot be stagnant. Na? The standard has to be a dynamic in nature, and whatever developments are happening or whatever fresh parameters have to be incorporated in the standard, R&D organization will tell. What is the role of laboratory? Testing, absolutely. How do you know that the product is meeting the requirements of the Indian standard? So laboratory will tell these are all the test requirements to be incorporated. This is how we are going to test. Individual experts. Why individual expert? Pardon? Absolutely. They give additional inputs on quality, and it is at this juncture that this workshop assumes significance, because we would like each of you to be participating in this national standardization process as individual experts. In each of the institution in the country, there is a rich pool of experts, either through the inputs from the faculty or from the research scholar or from the students, because you are learning, you know what is happening in the field at this point of juncture. So individual experts assume significance. So answer is A, B, C, D, E, F. Next. Who among the following can propose subject for developing Indian standards? Who can propose the standards? Mean subjects? Very easy. Absolutely, because standards are for all of them. So all of them can propose subjects for standards. Now, true or false? Standards are dynamic in nature? Absolutely, it has to be dynamic in nature. Next. Hallmarking scheme is run by Ministry of Heavy Industries? False. It is run by BIS and Ministry of Consumer Affairs. Anyone can comment on draft standard. Why? Why you cannot comment on a draft Indian standard? Who prevents you from commenting on a draft Indian standard when you see that there is a grave error in the draft? If you don't comment at the draft stage, it will get published as an Indian standard, and it will give erratic values, and you will get a low quality product in your house. Anybody can comment on the draft Indian standard. draft Indian standards are circulated for a wide circulation through BIS website, and whenever you open BIS website and see any standard of your subject area or importance, you can comment. We will consider the comment. All comments will be considered in the committee. Anyone can comment on Indian standard, true or false? Who said false? Who said false? False. False. Like again, you missed detecting the error at the draft stage. We have published it as an Indian standard. Only you have noticed that error at a later stage. Can you not comment on the Indian standard? Anybody can comment on the Indian standard. Anybody can comment on the draft Indian standard at any stage. So whenever such comment comes to BIS, that will get analyzed, and if errors are there, that has to be rectified. How often does BIS typically review its standards? What is review? Go through the document and see whether there is any need for any revision of the standard. How often does BIS should review, typically review? Absolutely. Every month will be too burdensome for my member secretary officers. Even every year also will become burdensome, because you will not be able to do justice to your job. And every 10 years is a long period. So ideally, internationally also, every 5 years, you review and see whether the standard calls for any amendment or revision. Standards are voluntary in nature, in which case BIS standards are mandatory. What do you mean by this term voluntary and mandatory? Voluntary, not related to standardization or certification. The term, what do you mean by voluntary? Voluntary. I hope all of you have come for this workshop voluntary or mandatory. Directors would have told, if you don't come for this workshop, 10 marks will be deducted. Has he told you like that? No. So that means it is not mandatory. It is voluntary. You want to know something about BIS, you want to learn something, you want to interact, you would like to give some inputs to BIS, so you have come here voluntarily. Likewise, when the standards are formulated, it is voluntary. Nobody forces you to implement the standard or adopt the standard. If you would like to go by the standard, you can go by the standard. But under certain conditions, it becomes mandatory when the government imposes it as a law. Packaged drinking water, you cannot see any packaged drinking water bottle without ISI mark. Why? Because that has been brought under the regulation by the government that every packaged drinking, water which is packed and bottled should have BIS certification. They should get BIS license, and then it should have an ISI mark. So standards are voluntary in nature, in which case BIS standards are mandatory. Absolutely, all of the above. If it is stipulated in a contract, if this organization is purchasing something, even if the standard, even if it is not mandatory, you say we want ISI mark product, then it is a contract, it becomes mandatory. If it is referred to a legislation like packaged drinking water, and again if the standard is mandatory by specific orders by the government, these orders are known as quality control orders. Government issue the quality control orders, make it binding on the manufacturer as well as the importer to get ISI mark products. In all the cases it becomes mandatory. The last question, which of the following is an aspect or a type of the standard? What is a product standard? What is a product standard? Standard for a product. Standard for packaged drinking water, standard for mixing, it's a product standard. What is a test method standard? Test method standard, as the name signifies, it's a test method standard. Packaged drinking water has to be tested for certain parameters, so that may be referred in some other standard, which is a test standard, is a test method standard. What is a code of practice standard? In addition to the product standard and test method standard, there are certain standards which are labeled as code of practice, like how the wiring should be there in the building, how you should pave that tiles. So certain standards are there which specifies the requirement. Those are practices, and there is a code which you have to follow for the practice. Terminology standards, like it is a standard which gives the definition of certain terms, and service standard is again a service sector standard. So all are the aspects of a standard. with this, all of you have participated. Move on to the next session. It's a brief about Bureau of Indian Standards and about standardization. After the next session, we will try to wind up in maybe 10-15 minutes. The entire team will break into groups. You will break into a group of 5. You can sit here in different sections and discuss, and we will give you one topic each. That topic will be for formulation of Indian standards. Now I am considering all of you are as technical members, technical committees. You are going to formulate Indian standards for us. So we will give the subject and you formulate an Indian standard, and what all contents are to be there in the Indian standard also we will brief you in 5 minutes. Then after that session, maybe for 30 or 40 minutes, each group will come on to the stage and will make a presentation, introduce yourself and make a presentation on what are all the contents of your Indian standard. So it can be in the form of a PPT if you would like to make a PPT, otherwise you can explain what contents you have made, and we will compare whether your standard is better than our standard or you need to go for some improvements in your standard. Okay, so 10 minutes we will wind up the next session.
So most of the people are already leaving, but anyways, this slide is intended to give you introduction to BIS, what we are actually doing, and I'll run it to you through it very quickly because most of it is self-explanatory, not much explanation to be done. It's an introduction to BIS and our standardization process. So beginnings, we as already informed, the origins can be traced to a branch of British Standard Institution which was established on 6th of August 1999. Then ISI was set up on 6th January 1947, and this is the picture which shows our first Prime Minister inaugurating our headquarter building. And in 1986, the BIS Act 1986 was first published. ISI got converted into a statutory organization, and in 2016 this act was again amended and we became the National Standards Body of India. So this is the historical evolution. This is our network. We are spread all across India, and our product certification is run through our network of branches. We have 38 branches at 32 locations. We also have 8 laboratories. These branch offices work under the supervision of regional offices. So we have 5 regional offices located at New Delhi, Central Office, Western Regional Office at Mumbai. Then we have Southern Regional Office at Chennai. Eastern Regional Office is at Kolkata, and the Northern Regional Office is at Chandigarh. And we also have a national level institute for providing training related to all the activities of BIS. And these are our core activities: standard formulation, conformity assessment, laboratory, consumer affairs, standard promotion and training. So all of our today's focus is on standard formulation and the standardization process. But I'll briefly tell you, I am presently working in the conformity assessment department of BIS. So conformity assessment might sound like a new or some foreign word, but it's very simple. It is the process by which you tell that whether the promise which was made has been fulfilled or not. So it will involve product certification, it will also involve laboratory testing, it also involves sampling, lot inspection, all those things. So product certification is a sub part of conformity assessment. As a ISI scheme, we are running the world's largest certification scheme. We have 41,000 licenses, more than 41,000 licenses, about 1,150 products, and these are data for domestic. We also have a certification in outside India. We have about 1,200 licenses, and around 110 and 20 products are covered. So this is what product certification. Hallmarking you are well familiar of. It is for gold and silver jewelry. And now recently Government of India has made it mandatory in a number of cities across India. Compulsory registration is another type of product certification only. Sir has already informed you, it is applicable to electronic IT goods, some of the solar renewable products and few chemicals. Laboratory services, we have our own 8 laboratories and about 300 outside partner laboratories. So those are called BIS recognized laboratories. And all these activities are done to help the common consumer. So we also have a dedicated consumer affairs department which takes up all the kind of feedback, complaints or any suggestions. And to inculcate, like today we are doing a standard promotion event here. So this standard promotion is taken up largely by our network of branch offices. And training, I have already told you, we have a training institute called NITS in Noida. So coming back to the focus of today's standard formulation, BIS has identified 16 sectors important to Indian industry and consumers. And these 16 sectors are aligned with the vertical divisions in standardization, which are called divisional councils. So these are all technical fields. Exact details I'll show you in the next slide. So we have 16 division councils. Under those division councils, we have 386 sectional committees, 215 subcommittees, working groups and panels. So at present, more than 22,092 standards are in force, and essentially the aim is to inculcate a culture of quality products and service in line with national priorities through mandatory or voluntary compliance. And we are following the good regulatory, good standard making practices given in the WTO GATS agreement. It's a sub-part of TBT agreement also. So we are following the best international practices in making the standards. Division councils, these are self-explanatory. Nearly all the technological divisions are covered. So from transportation engineering, Ayush is a very new, and service sector, these are the very two recent divisional council which has been added. We have traditional engineering like mechanical engineering, metallurgy is also there as a separate division council. So all these all these division councils and departments represented by them undertake standard work in their domain expertise. This is the standardization structure. We have governing council. Our honorable minister, cabinet minister, is the president of the governing council. Under that governing council, we have a standards advisory committee. Below that, we have division councils and sectional committees and panels function under individual division councils. So Genesis, this is a bit of details taken from the BIS Act. So every act or every function in the government is done through a statute. So these are the provisions given in our Act 2016. It is reconstituted every 3 years. And while we show you the digital initiatives of BIS, we will explain you how the committees look and what are its members and all. So here we have taken one example of Mechanical Engineering Division Council. This Division Council corresponds with the MED, Mechanical Engineering Department in BIS. So they take up standard formulation work in the mechanical related items like cement, my apologies, all types of mechanical items like this very common example I want to give, your household pressure cooker, household stove. So these type of items which have more mechanical properties, so they take up the standardization work. And here we have given the composition. So if you look at the pie chart, the most common sector represented is industry. Then we have industry associations. So if you add those things up, so nearly you will see about 50% representation is from industry. We also have R&D organization, consumer groups, central ministries or department and technologists. But essentially standard formulation is a voluntary work. So what happens that those who take interest, they start dominating the process. And because industry is the standards affect all of us in many manners, but the most common impact they have is on the industry. So industries are very active. There are some guidelines in BIS to balance those interests, but due to lack of participation from other stakeholders, they start dominating the standard formulation process. So this is one of our objectives, that we want academia to get into standard formulation process, so that all the interest, because when like Unni sir told about the consensus process. So that consensus, if it is between only one type of people, then it is not a consensus, it is just a hijacking of the process. So we want a proper meaningful consensus, and for that consensus all these stakeholders should get represented. So that is again the purpose of this program, is to evince interest from institutions like yourself. These are the functions of division councils. These are like, this will be required once you join BIS as a technical committee member or maybe an expert. So you can go through it on your own. We'll give you the presentations. These are many functions. Chairperson is appointed by the Standard Advisory Council for a period of 3 years. Sectional committee like is just sits immediately below division council, and they work in their domain area. Like for cylinders, there will be committee which will be dealing with equipment or products, pressure related sectional committee. So that type of sectional committee will be work under division council, and for each sectional committee there is a member secretary. My colleagues in BIS who are in standardization division, so they act as member secretary, and different members from across stakeholders are taken for participation in the sectional committee. Strength is around 30, but this is not a hard and fast rule. Depending upon the nature of work, it can be either higher or maybe slightly less also. Usually in every 3 years it is reconstituted. Chairman is appointed from the members by appointing authority, governing council or division council, as the case may be. So this appointment can come either from the top or from the division council itself. Usually research organizations, neutral organizations, they are preferred for the post of chairman, so that the consensus is not vitiated. For 3 years, and chairman may be appointed again. They generally preside over the meetings of sectional committee. In his member, and present member in his absence, the committee elects one of its member present to preside for that meeting. These are the expectations from technical committee members. These you can go through on your own. These are kind of code of conduct or code of expected ethics from members. So essentially, what we want is active participation. All those points are written just to encourage active participation and contribution from technical committee members. Functions of sectional committee can be studied in, these are internal workings of department. So I'll give you an introduction. Like sections committee for work through their member secretaries. So those committees essentially take 2-3 type of works. One is document management. Document management means the item related to program. It relates to selection of new items for making formulation, making standard formulation, review, revision, amendment for existing standards based on necessity, and there is a meeting management. This all cannot, member secretary cannot do all these things on his own. Even if he has the knowledge, he has to take the committee route. So that committee meeting management is another function of sectional committee. We have committee management because it was told to you earlier, for a specific task there could be subcommittees, panels or working group inside a particular sectional committee, and they do have their own conveners. They undertake R&D work, they take studies, they do validation data. So here one important thing could be that we'll give you some examples of R&D work. Recently IS 1660, this is a standard for aluminium utensils, has been made mandatory by the government of India. IS 1660 requires that the aluminium used in the utensil should be as per IS 21. IS 21 was formulated in 1958. In 1958, there were 6 grades. So I think they also have about 9 or 10 grades. The standard has gone through periodic revisions, but we faced a lot of protest from scrap dealers that they want that aluminium from scrap should be allowed to be used in making of utensils. We took a principal stand that there are n number of things that can be done with scrap aluminium. You can make handrail, you can use it in transport, but unless there is we expel all the fears of potential misuse, it should not be allowed to be used in utensils. But our stand would have been much better if somebody from your college had done a leaching study on scrap aluminium. You can do it for 2 years, it will be taken up. I think my colleagues from MTD will be better confirm. It may go to CFTRI for validation study. They'll take utensils from made from scrap aluminium, made from primarily produced aluminium. They'll do these studies. So these small studies are what is needed, because standards, like my DG was saying earlier, the robustness is lacking in the sense that we have standard based on empirical knowledge, based on experience. But if somebody wants to see if we can make an improvement or change, because if you do a study, then it is found that okay, then scrap aluminium has no impact at all on the quality of utensils, then it will save a lot of money for small scale manufacturers. So this is type of work that these subcommittees or panels take, and in that capacity we want to engage R&D institutions, universities. So this is one type of work that can be taken up. Again, international work is also a function of sectional committee, because we do licensing with ISO and IEC committees. So equivalent standards for a sectional committee which are being developed internationally, they will also be taken up and developed in the Indian sectional committee. This is the process in brief. This is whatever happens in BIS. This is the summary. First there will be interest shown by a way of a new work item proposal. This anybody can submit, like already told. This NWIP will come to the sectional committee. The member secretary and maybe few members from the committee will make a working draft. This working draft is a very elementary document. It remains in the committee or maybe panel. Then it takes, with some further modification, it takes the form of a preliminary draft. So preliminary draft is stage where the first inklings of the standards can be seen. Here it starts take shape as a standard looking a document looks like standard. And then once the committee finalizes the preliminary draft and make changes, it becomes a white circulation draft. So white circulation draft is a stage where it is circulated. So that meaning is very clear. White circulation means circulation as far as possible. All types of stakeholders are given chance to comment. It is hosted, it is formally communicated to industry associations, members, research institutes, hosted on BIS website for public comment. Then after considering all those comment and the consensus building process, it gets converted into a final draft, and that final draft will go to the divisional council. And once the divisional council accepts that final draft, it will go for publication in the Gazette of India, and once it is gazetted, it becomes an Indian standard. So this is the summary of the process. There is no hard and fast timelines prescribed to it. Depending upon the need and urgency, this process can take 1 year or maybe even 6 months also. This is the collaboration, international work that we do. It has already been explained by my senior colleague, so I won't take much time here. But we want to take you, we want to evince your interest that international standardization is important. And except till like 2019, BIS was a standard taker. We were participating, but mostly participating. We were not standard makers. But due see, one example I'll give you. Electrical vehicle standards are being formalized, like IEC and other agencies are making those standards. And those standards are at present being made as per European and American design conditions, where the maximum temperature that reaches is about 30 degree. So, if those standards incorporate 30-degree temperature in their design, and the same design comes to India, it will immediately fail. You keep on hearing that, okay, the vehicle is catching fire, because that vehicle was tested at 30-degree temperature. And if you go to Delhi in end of June, the temperature on road will go to 52, 53 degree. So no technology can survive a 1.5 times jump in working conditions. So that is why it is important that we influence standardization itself. Like we incorporate India's specific conditions in international standard. Because when we do that, even the foreigners that sell goods or services to Indian market, they have to meet the conditions of this country. And our manufacturers are also made aware they don't face any kind of handicap because standards, like already explained earlier, even my DG sir mentioned it, standards now remain the only available option as a measure to control trade. After the coming in of WTO, you cannot impose duty, you cannot put custom tariffs. All these things, if you do, immediately it will get you challenged. You will lose millions of dollars and then it has to be allowed. So there is a proper way to control trade, and that is called technical barriers to trade, and standards are the bedrock of technical barriers to trade. As of now, my particular department is the nodal department for issuing technical regulations or quality control orders. So we have about 536 products under ISI mark certification. When I had joined BIS in 2012, there were about 86 products. So this number has gone up by almost like 6-7 times in past decade. And we also have about more than 100 products in Scheme 2. Likewise, we have Scheme 4, we have Scheme 10. So in total, about 650 products are under compulsory certification. And if you look at European Union, they have about 1600 products under compulsory certification. So BIS is also going in that direction. We are bringing more and more technical regulations to make our technical regulations effective. Sorry. We are actively participating in ISO and IEC. We have signed MOUs and 8 bilateral agreements with different standard making bodies. In about 80%, in fact more than 80% cases, Indian standards are harmonized with international standards wherever international standards are available. And these are some figures we have in ISO. We are participating in 697 committee, as P member in 534, as observer member in 163. P member means participating member. Similarly, figures for IC can also be seen. Support structure. So this is not written in stone. These are some ideas that how we can act you as a support structure to you to make national and international standards better. We have, like DG sir was saying, we have about 500-600 research and development projects which will be released for MOU institutions very soon. All the members of technical committee, they can access a good library at BIS headquarters. You can see old standards, new standards, all standards which are very costly to access. All those can be availed. You can participate in international collaboration. Like I speak, at least 2 or 3 international meetings are happening in India. One of my colleagues, he is holding an MTD committee on copper in Jaipur. So all those people from experts have come to Jaipur to make international standards. So all those things you can also participate if you become a member. We can organize joint seminars, conference, workshops, symposia, lecture training or workshop like this. And the ultimate achievement, if we do our work today here, will be participation of some of you in standardization activity through technical committees at national and international level. We would love to offer you R&D projects related to standardization and conformity assessment. We will also aid in making, in fact, giving infrastructure support for R&D projects, organize joint seminars, conferences, etc., exchange publication, research and educational material and programs relevant to BIS activities, and to promote the integration of Indian standards in course curricula and for initiating short-term courses on standardization. So IIT Roorkee's example was already taken. I'd like to give you one more example. Korea is called South Korea, not the North one. So Korea is called a kind of tiger economy. After the Korean War in 1956 and 57, they were like battle, and they are a very small country. But in 70s, they realized that the only way to progress is to export, and the only way to export is to follow standards. So they focused a lot on standardization. In 1974, all their engineering courses had to have a course on standardization mandatorily. And look at present, they are like one of the most industrialized countries in the world. Samsung Electronics is the largest holder of patents in world. They have most of the patents. I mean, so the kind of benefits that they have derived from standardization is unparalleled. I mean, they have done the investment 50 years back and now they are reaping the benefits. So this can come through integration of standards in course curricula. Sorry. This is our some pictures of our training institute. It was set up in 1995 and it can provide training related to BIS activities. We carry out in-house training that is in Noida, and we can also offer you specific courses through our regional offices, and if there is enough interest, we can hold trainings here also. We are also one of the recognized institute recognized by Ministry of External Affairs for Colombo program and Colombo plan and Indian technical and economic cooperation. So under these programs, we are carrying out trainings for international participants for past many decades. This is a small slide on standard promotion and consumer engagement. These are multiple types of work that is already going on. We are establishing standard clubs at educational institutes. There is a formal state level committee on standardization in every state and union territory. We are training district level officers to better use standards in their day-to-day work. We are installing glow sign boards at district collector offices and prominent places. In Delhi, they have appointed a whole metro with insignia of BIS. We are carrying out exposure visits for students and industry personnel to BIS offices, testing laboratories and manufacturing unit. And we are also creating awareness program with consumer and consumer groups, including self-help groups, RWAs and KVKs. So this is in brief the work that we are doing. So I think it has been of some help to you. So then I think I'll give the mic to host.
Thank you so much, sir. Now let's have a tea break. Next session will start sharply at 12. So
about the work and related to standards also. So friends, this program, basically the idea is how BIS can benefit and how your organization NIMT can benefit out of this collaboration. This collaboration is a basically initial step how we can get benefited from each other. In this whole day program, you will get to learn about BIS. You will listen about the activity which we are undertaking, primarily the standardization activity and then certification activity and then management system, laboratory services, all these four basic activities which we are carrying out. So you will get to know what are these activities. When you listen to this presentations carefully, you will get to know what exactly BIS is doing and how you can contribute and you can gain out of those activities. So idea is this. So I would request you just listen to all this presentations and quiz and all those things, whatever medium for communication it is. Just you listen to them carefully, then you will actually take out so many things out of that. see, every kind of this kind of program, you cannot remember all those things. But still, if you can remember, say 20%, 30%, and whatever is important to you, then it will be really useful program. This is a whole day program. Please listen to it carefully and just try to find out where this can be useful for us. For example, in standard foundation activity, prior to coming to BIS, I was having very less idea about BIS. When I was in college, I am a civil engineer, so I used to know only IS 456, IS 800 and some of the earthquake standards, and then some foundation engineering standard, because we used to get taught in the class line by line, because all the design books, if you see, are there any civil engineers here? Acha, only one, at least one is there, no problem. But civil engineering, I know this college is, in this college, civil engineering is taught. So you would be knowing it very well that civil engineering is all about standards. Similarly, part of it in mechanical also, they teach so many things about standard. So prior to coming to this organization, I used to know only these standards, and I used to know that okay, if we get standards from Delhi, I will get a 60% discount. So that is what, that much only I used to know about BIS. But once the advertisement came in, Rozgar Samachar, then I applied for BIS, and once I was called for interview, then I tried to find out what are the information about BIS which will be asked to me in the interview. So at that point of time, I got to learn about BIS. But you people are getting this opportunity to know about BIS in your college itself. So this is a great opportunity for you to understand about BIS. Okay, so just don't miss it. Just don't miss it. Otherwise, the whole day ultimately it is going to be wasted whatever way you do. Okay, so at least utilize this and listen to whatever speaker is saying, and just try to gather how you will be getting benefit out of the activity of BIS. Okay, there are few critical areas where you can be attached to BIS is in standard foundation activity. Then, as DG sir said, some of the research work we would be allotting. So try to find out the area in which you are working and the kind of research product BIS is offering to you. So that will be a very good idea. You can take up that project. Of course, BIS would be funding in that project. And so after finish the project, there are I have seen these projects are normally people doing their MTech program and PhD program. But some of the research work, some of the BTech students are also involved in carrying out the experimentation part. Okay, so you try to find out what kind of research work BIS is offering us and the area in which you are involved. So try to get involved in all those areas. Okay, pick up those projects, and you will be really benefited in the long run, not only in the campus interview. You will be getting advantage in your campus interview also, because if such type of company is coming who is interested in those kind of project, naturally you will be having a competitive advantage over other students, is it not? So आप लोग इसको बड़ा ध्यान से सुनिए, अच्छे से सुनिए. अगर आप 10%, 20%, 30% भी इसको ग्रास्प कर पाए, याद रख पाए, तो बहुत आपको बेनिफिट इससे मिलेगा. आप सिर्फ की पॉइंट नोट कीजिए कि कहाँ आपको बेनिफिट मिलने वाला है, आप उसको नोट कर लीजिए. Go in detail. If you want any additional information about that, you can contact any of us. I am the local officer. There are other officers also who is working in BIS. You can just simply contact. You can get my contact number from any of us. You just contact us, and you will get to know so many details about those important things which you would like to know. Okay. So आप ऐसा कीजिए, and end of the day, I feel that you will get something out of this program. So I will not take much time because speakers are there and I have actually intruded in between. So thank you very much once again for joining this program and facilitating such a beautiful, ambience for this program. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. The next is scope and expectation from education Now I want to call Vijay sir.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak something. Actually, you might have now known that this kind of programs are going pan-India, and more than 40 institutions of repute, there we are having this kind of program. तो अभी इसमें सबसे बेसिक सवाल जो आता है वो ये है कि एज ए टेक्निकल इंस्टीट्यूशन आप BIS के बारे में क्यों जानना चाहते हैं, या आपको क्यों बताया जा रहा है, या एज ए टेक्निकल स्टूडेंट मैं ये सवाल ज़रूर पूछूंगा कि भाई हमें क्यों बताया जा रहा है BIS के बारे में, हम स्टैंडर्ड जान के क्या करेंगे। तो इसका जवाब ये है कि क्वालिटी जो है वो हर एक आदमी के डेली लाइफ से जुड़ी हुई चीज़ है, और क्वालिटी जब हम डिफाइन करते हैं या क्वालिटी के बारे में सोचते हैं तो आइडिया जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा क्लियर नहीं है कॉमन जो लोग हैं उनके दिमाग में, या एज ए टेक्निकल इंस्टीट्यूट्स जो स्टूडेंट्स के दिमाग में भी वो क्लियर नहीं है। फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आप में से कोई बताना चाहे व्हाट इज़ क्वालिटी, तो आप बताइए क्या है क्वालिटी। समबडी फ्रॉम द स्टूडेंट्स स्पेशली, हाँ आप बताइए। Adherence to the service. Somebody else? क्या बताया आपने? Improvement of product. Anybody else?
Betterment among the other products available.
Measurement against?
Betterment among the other products.
Betterment among the other product. So the thing is कि वो क्वालिटी को लेकर के हमारे खुद के दिमाग में क्लियर आइडिया नहीं है कि क्या है। हम ये जानते हैं बेसिकली कि क्वालिटी अच्छी होनी चाहिए किसी भी प्रोडक्ट की, किसी सर्विस की क्वालिटी अच्छी होनी चाहिए। बट लेट अस डिफाइन क्वालिटी। क्वालिटी जब हम किसी चीज़ या सर्विस में खोजते हैं तो हम क्या चाहते हैं? पहली चीज़ तो ये कि हमारी जो एंड यूज़र की जो रिक्वायरमेंट्स है उसको वो पूरा करे और हमारी एक्सपेक्टेशन पे वो खरा उतरे। तो उसके लिए जो है हम कुछ रिक्वायरमेंट्स को लिस्ट आउट करते हैं। वो रिक्वायरमेंट आपकी हो सकती है, उस रिक्वायरमेंट में मैन्युफैक्चरर की जो रिक्वायरमेंट्स है वो शामिल होनी चाहिए, उसमें जो है रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज़ हैं, गवर्नमेंट हैं, उनकी रिक्वायरमेंट शामिल होनी चाहिए, और सोसाइटी की रिक्वायरमेंट एट लार्ज जो है उसमें शामिल होती है। इन सारी चीज़ों को लिस्ट आउट किया जाता है। इन रिक्वायरमेंट्स को ही कहा जाता है स्टैंडर्ड। तो स्टैंडर्ड्स आर नथिंग बट अ डॉक्यूमेंट लिस्टिंग आउट ऑल दोज रिक्वायरमेंट्स। तो जिस चीज़ और सर्विस को हम यूज करना चाहते हैं उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स हमें पता होनी चाहिए। तो यहाँ पे आता है कि हमें स्टैंडर्ड के बारे में पता होनी चाहिए, ठीक है। और अगर उस स्टैंडर्ड पे कोई चीज़ खरीद करती है तो हमारे लिए बेनिफिशियल है, तो उस चीज़ को BIS सर्टिफिकेशन के थ्रू उसको पूरा करता है पूरी कंट्री में, यानी कि हम क्वालिटी को इंश्योर करने का भी काम करते हैं। तो इन चीज़ों को जानने से एज ए स्टूडेंट आपका क्या होगा, थोड़ा सा माइंड ओपन होगा। फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम पानी की बोतल लें तो हमें पता है बेसिकली एज ए साइंस स्टूडेंट और इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट कि एक पानी में बेसिक क्वालिटीज़ क्या होनी चाहिए। पानी पीने से हमें बीमार नहीं होना चाहिए, राइट। और जो है घटिया पानी जो है बाज़ार में मिलना नहीं चाहिए। इससे ज़्यादा हम बेसिकली जानते नहीं, ठीक है। हमने लिस्ट आउट कर दिया कि कोई चीज़ कौन सी चीज़ें हैं जो पीने से हमें बीमार नहीं हो, सेफ़ हो हमारे लिए, वो तो हो गया। बट टेक्निकल इंस्टीट्यूशंस का क्या रोल है? रोल ये है कि वो सारी चीज़ों को फाइंड आउट करना जिनके बारे में हम जानते नहीं हैं, ये चीज़ें भी हमारे लिए ज़रूरी है। फॉर एग्जांपल मैं बताना चाहूँगा, पानी को आप अगर लेंगे तो उसमें एक बैक्टीरिया पाया जाता है, सीडोमोनास एक्यूमोना उसका नाम है, ठीक है। आप अगर एज ए हेल्दी पर्सन उसको कंज्यूम करेंगे और बैक्टीरिया अगर उसमें है, आपको कुछ नहीं होगा। बट जैसे ही आप इम्यूनो कम्प्रोमाइज़ होते हैं, पानी तो सब पीते हैं, बीमार आदमी भी पीता है, हॉस्पिटलाइज जो आदमी है वो भी पीता है। तो वो पानी जब पिएगा उसमें सीडोमोनास एक्यूमोना होगा, तो वो उसको अफेक्ट तब करेगा जब वो इम्यूनो कम्प्रोमाइज, तब वो उसको बुरी तरह से बीमार कर देगा। कोई अगर प्रेग्नेंट लेडी है उसके ऊपर वो असर करेगा, जो बीमार है उनको और ज़्यादा बीमार कर देगा, जानलेवा हो सकता है। तो वो डिजायरेबल है कि ये बैक्टीरिया उसमें ना हो, लेकिन वो फिर कैसे पता चलेगा? वो तो कहीं ना कहीं किसी ना किसी को रिसर्च वर्क करना होगा। रिसर्च वर्क के थ्रू ये पता चलता है कि अच्छा ये भी एक बैक्टीरिया होता है, ये भी पानी में नहीं होना चाहिए, तब फिर उसको लिस्ट आउट किया जाता है, स्टैंडर्ड में लाया जाता है, उस स्टैंडर्ड को फोर्सफुली इम्प्लीमेंट कराया जाता है। फॉर एग्जांपल पानी जो है अभी मैंडेटरी है, तो उसमें IS 14543 इम्प्लीमेंट किया जाए क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड को, तो आप इससे सुरक्षित रहते हैं। ऐसी बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं। अगर पानी की बात करें तो उसमें 90 से ऊपर पैरामीटर्स होते हैं जिनको चेक करना ज़रूरी होता है, और BIS चेक करता है, उसके बाद सर्टिफाई करता है। इवन कि जो पानी जिस बॉटल में जाता है, प्लास्टिक की बॉटल, उसके 40 से ज़्यादा टेस्ट होते हैं, और वो करने ज़रूरी हैं क्योंकि उसमें कई सारी चीज़ें कार्सिनोजेनिक हैं, अनडिजायरेबल है, उसकी लिमिट्स तय होनी चाहिए, वो पानी में नहीं होना चाहिए। अब ये रिसेंटली हुआ भी है। अब जैसे आपके इंस्टीट्यूशन का रोल आपको फाइंड आउट करना है, इसलिए ये सब प्रोग्राम किए जा रहे हैं। बार्क एक ऐसा ही इंस्टीट्यूट है, BIS स्टैंडर्ड बनाता है, फाइन, क्वालिटी सर्टिफिकेशन करता है, फाइन, लेकिन बार्क ने खोजा कि बेरियम जो है एक ऐसा प्रोडक्ट है जो कार्सिनोजेनिक है। आप थोड़ा इसके बारे में जानेंगे तो कार्सिनोजेनिक है। डाउन द पीछे जब आप 5 साल जाएंगे तो बेरियम के बारे में पानी में रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं डाला गया था। बार्क ने रिसर्च के थ्रू पता किया कि बेरियम जो है पानी में नहीं होना चाहिए, कार्सिनोजेनिक है, उसकी भी लिमिट तय होनी चाहिए। तो ये एक एग्जांपल है कि इंस्टीट्यूशन, टेक्निकल इंस्टीट्यूशन या रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूशन क्या कर सकता है। तो उसने फिर रिसर्च करके बताया कि भाई BIS आपको ये बेरियम की भी रिक्वायरमेंट तय करनी है। उस पर फिर डेलिब्रेशन हुए और फाइनली वो स्टैंडर्ड में इंक्लूड किया गया। तो बेसिकली आइडिया यही है कि लोगों का माइंड ओपन करना, और 50 लोग हैं उसमें 2 लोग भी अगर इस तरह के प्रोडक्टिव रिसर्च को लेकर के आते हैं तो बहुत ज़्यादा बेनिफिशियल। दूसरा है कि आप कंज्यूमर भी हैं, आप फ्यूचर सिटीजन ऑफ इंडिया हैं। इसके अलावा आप अपनी फैमिलीज़ में लोगों को इनपुट भी देते हैं, कौन सा चीज़ कंज्यूम करना चाहिए, कौन सी चीज़ अच्छी है। तो अगर आप सीमेंट खरीदने जाते हैं तो आपको एक बेसिक आइडिया है बिफोर दिस काइंड ऑफ प्रेजेंटेशन या BIS के बारे में कि उसमें स्ट्रेंथ होनी चाहिए, तो आप स्ट्रेंथ के बेसिस पे खरीदते हैं। जो नहीं जानते हैं उनके लिए गवर्नमेंट ने खुद उस पर ISI मैंडेटरी कर रखा है। जो नहीं जानते हैं भाई वो भी सीमेंट अच्छा खरीदें। क्यों? क्योंकि वो जान माल की सेफ्टी से जुड़ी हुई चीज़ है। लेकिन एज ए कॉमन कंज्यूमर भी आपको जानना चाहिए कि उसमें स्ट्रेंथ के अलावा भी बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल अगर सीमेंट सेट कर जाता है तो उसका एक सेटिंग टाइम भी होता है कि इतने समय से ज़्यादा उसको सेटिंग में टाइम लगना नहीं चाहिए, तो वो तुरंत सेट भी करना चाहिए और इसकी लिमिट भी तय करनी चाहिए। फिर है कि वो बहुत ज़्यादा समय भी नहीं लेना चाहिए सेटिंग में, या बहुत जल्दी सेट नहीं करना चाहिए। तो दोनों चीज़ों को जो है लिमिट तय करनी है। फिर है कि सीमेंट जो है अगर आप लगा देते हो तो एक्सपैंड करता है, ये आपको जानना चाहिए। अगर वो कोई स्ट्रक्चर सीमेंट लगाने के बाद अगर एक्सपेंड करेगा तो स्टेबिलिटी रहेगी नहीं। उसी तरह है कि कॉन्ट्रैक्ट भी करता है, तो वो भी स्ट्रक्चर के लिए अच्छी चीज़ नहीं है। तो जब तक आपका दिमाग ओपन नहीं होगा, इन चीज़ों को आप जानोगे नहीं, इनके बारे में आप सोचोगे नहीं, तो आप किसी तरह का कोई कंट्रीब्यूशन एज ए टेक्निकल इंस्टीट्यूशन या स्टूडेंट भी नहीं कर सकते, एज ए एंड कंज्यूमर भी नहीं कर सकते। इस तरह के सैकड़ों एग्जाम्पल्स हैं। 22,000 से ऊपर हम स्टैंडर्ड बनाते हैं, 1100 से ज़्यादा उन पर प्रोडक्ट सर्टिफिकेशन करते हैं। तो ये तो हो गई मोटा मोटी बात जो हमें जाननी है, और जिन चीज़ों की वजह से हमें BIS के बारे में जानना जरूरी है। गोल्ड हॉल मार्किंग की बात हुई। गोल्ड एक ऐसा एग्जाम्पल है जिसमें जब BIS हॉलमार्क नहीं था तो आपको अपने मनी की वैल्यू ही नहीं मिलती थी। आप अगर 1 लाख का ज्वेलरी खरीदते हैं, देयर वाज नो गारंटी कि इसमें 50,000 का भी सोना हो। ये फैक्ट है। जो वर्ल्ड गोल्ड काउंसिल ने 2000 से पहले रिसर्च करवाया था और पता चला कि 95% गोल्ड जो है इंडिया में बिकता है वो फेल है, प्योरिटी पैरामीटर पे फेल है। तो फिर BIS के पास आया कि आप इसको देखिए, स्टैंडर्ड बनाइए, इसको इम्प्लीमेंट कीजिए, ठीक है। तो अब क्या हो रहा है कि अगर आप हॉलमार्क गोल्ड खरीदेंगे तो आपको अपने मनी की पूरी वैल्यू मिलेगी। मतलब अगर आप 10 लाख का सोना खरीद रहे हैं, पहले आप उसको बेचने जाते थे, 6 लाख भी मिलेगा नहीं, इसकी गारंटी नहीं थी। अब आप बेचने जाते हैं, हॉलमार्क गोल्ड खरीदेंगे, उसको फिर बेचने जाएंगे, तो हो सकता है कि आपको उसकी पूरी की पूरी वैल्यू मिले। हो सकता है क्या है, ये BIS इंश्योर करता है। देयर इज BIS केयर ऐप, उसके बारे में भी हम लोग डिफरेंट प्रोग्राम्स में बताते हैं। उसमें आप HUID यानी हॉलमार्किंग यूनिक आइडेंटिफिकेशन डाल करके उसके बारे में आप पता कर सकते हैं कि प्योरिटी इसकी कितनी है और ये प्योर है भी कि नहीं। ठीक है, तो ये हो गया एक एस्पेक्ट एज ए कंज्यूमर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, एज ए स्टूडेंट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, रिसर्च पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से भी इसके कई सारे पहलू हैं। एक मैंने डिस्कस किया जो आपका बार्क वाला था। इसके अलावा BIS स्टैंडर्ड इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे जो चीज़ें करता है उसका कुछ झलक भी आपको दिखलाया गया। अब उसका फ़ायदा भी क्या होता है वो भी मैं एक एग्जांपल के थ्रू बताना चाहूँगा। सपोज टॉय है, टॉय अंडर मैंडेटरी सर्टिफिकेशन फ्यू ईयर्स बैक आया है। उससे पहले क्या था, स्थिति क्या थी, आपको आपका रोल समझाने के लिए कि आप क्या क्या कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं। 95% टॉय मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडिया में डेड हो गया। देयर वाज नो टॉय प्रोडक्शन। 5% जो लोग कर रहे थे, बाकी सब कहाँ चला गया था, यू नो वेरी वेल कि कहाँ गया था, चाइना से आता था। BIS का क्या रोल रहा उसमें। अब हमें जो है मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्री को भी जिंदा रखना है, जिंदा करना है और आपको क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट भी मिलना है। टॉय जो आप जानते हैं बच्चे मुंह में लेते हैं या छूते हैं या उसके संपर्क में रहते हैं, कई तरह के जो उसमें थैलिक एसिड या इस तरह की जो हार्म वाली चीज़ें हैं उसमें रहती हैं, तो उनको आपको हमें ख़त्म भी करना है। प्लस हमें डोमेस्टिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को भी बढ़ावा देना है। कोई ज़रूरी नहीं है बाहर से आ रहा है क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट है, उससे पूरा आइडिया जो हमारा एम है वो पूरा नहीं होता है। तो वहाँ पे BIS एक्ट प्ले में आता है। कोई भी एक्ट है पार्लियामेंट में इनेक्ट किया जाता है, किस लिए, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया अपने आप को या जो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट अपने आप को एम्पावर करने की। तो BIS एक्ट के थ्रू हमने अपने आप को एम्पावर किया, गवर्नमेंट ने एम्पावर किया कि हम उन चीज़ों को ऊपर ISI को मैंडेटरी करेंगे। जैसा हमारे कलीग ने बताया कि हम WTO के मेंबर हैं, तो आप फ्री ट्रेड को रोक नहीं सकते, तो आप उसमें टेक्निकल बैरियर्स लगाते हैं। टेक्निकल बैरियर्स है BIS के स्टैंडर्ड, हमने मैंडेटरी कर दिया। अब जो है चाइना से अगर लाना है तो उनको BIS उस पर सर्टिफिकेशन लेना हो। ठीक है, तो इस तरह की चीज़ें करके फिर हमने डोमेस्टिक इंडस्ट्रीज को भी बढ़ावा दिया और आज की डेट में 95% से ज़्यादा जो है अपने यहाँ डोमेस्टिक मैन्युफैक्चरर्स वापस टॉय बनाना शुरू कर चुके हैं और चाइना से जो है वो चीज़ें आनी बंद हो गई। तो दीज आर सम एग्जांपल जिसके थ्रू आप ये अपना बेनिफिट पता कर सकते हैं कि हम कहाँ कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं। तो अब ज़्यादा समय नहीं लेते हुए मैं यहीं पे बात ख़त्म करूँगा एंड द नेक्स्ट स्पीकर वुड कम। थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to call Dr. Ghanshyam Das, sir, for vote for thanks.
Good afternoon to all of you. This is the last part, that is the vote of thanks. Without that, any inaugural program is not success. So before putting that vote of thanks, just I want to brief regarding the BIS. BIS called, the full form of the BIS is the Bureau of Indian Standard, which is the national standard body of India established under the BIS Act 22nd March 2016 for the harmonious development of the activities of standardization, marking and quality certification of goods and any manufacturing products. The BIS, which is the national standard body of India, develop and publish Indian standards, implement the conformity assessment and schemes. Till date we have around 20,000 standards formulated by the BIS, 1,000 technical committees, and more than 15,000 of the experts from different corner of our country. The BIS headquarters is situated in New Delhi with the 5 regional offices, that is the Kolkata, Chennai, Mumbai, Chandigarh and Delhi. The BIS is an agency of India which established in 1987 to devise the uniform standards of quality for broad categories of manufactured and agriculture goods, to perform product testing and to license the use of an official mark to indicate that a product has been certified. The BIS came into existence in December 86. The development of activities of standardization, marking and quality certification of goods and products of the manufactured in any equipment, machinery systems, even the eatable items. Formulation of Indian standard is one of the core activity of BIS, which is done through the 14 divisional centers representing the diverse area of economy and technology. These standards are subjected to periodic review resulting in the reaffirmation, amendment, revision or withdrawal as and when required. The committee structure of the BIS providing traceability and tangibility to the national economy in the number of the ways. The number one, providing the safe and reliable quality goods, minimizing the health hazards to the consumers, promoting the exports and imports item throughout standardization, certification and testing. The role, so with this, first of all, I thanks to our Honorable Senior Director, Sri A.R. Unikrishnan, and Senior Director and from MSD, who has come from the Delhi to attend this workshop and given very excellent motivation to our students by presenting the quiz of them regarding the BIS. The thanks to our Senior Director and Head JDBO, Sri S.K. Verma sir, and with very short notice of time, we have, with the help of Verma sir, we have able to conduct this program. We also thanks to Sudhakar Roy, the Joint Director of CMD, Vijay Gaurav, PTBO from the BIS. Also we thanks to our one of the Joint Director from JDBO, Dr. Kausalendra, who has been contacted to conduct this program in this short span of time. Also thanks to Dr. Nagvarshini M, as Director JDBO, Mrs. Shreya Kumari, Assistant Director ERO, who has come from the Calcutta Regional Office. We also from the, on behalf of our Honorable Director and NIMT Ranchi family, we also thanks to the Director General Sri Pramod Kumar Tiwari sir, who has joined in the online mode and giving the motivation speech. Thank you once again very much, sir. And also thanks to our Honorable Director who has motivated to conduct this type of the programs in our NIMT and with the collaboration of the BIS. And you might be knowing, few days back we have made the MOU with the BIS, and this is the first step to go ahead with this type of the workshop, and hope in the near future also we'll try to continue this type of the program. So thank you very much, sir, to all of you for coming over here. Thank you once again to all the students, the faculty members, the teaching, non-teaching staffs, the officers, the ladies and gentlemen, the media persons for smoothly attending and listening about the BIS. And at the last, we also thanks to our committee members for particular in the short span of time conducting this program. Dr. Jagesh Verma, who is the faculty in the Mechanical Engineering Department. Dr. Himanshu Khandelwal, the faculty in the Foundry Technology Department. Dr. Abhilash Nayak from Department of Applied Science and Humanities. Dr. Deepak Kumar from the Forge Technology Department. Dr. Ratnesh Kumar Gupta from the Metallurgical Engineering Department. And at the last, I also thanks to our Honorable In-Charge Director R.K. Odhar sir for giving all sort of the support to conduct this program. And after very long time of spent, sorry for that, we are not able to start the air conditioners somewhat immediately filling here. It is under the construction. So once again, on the behalf of NIMT sir, we are welcome and thanks to all the dignitaries who has come from the different part of the India. Thank you very much.